Yo, what is good? I'm Marcus, the debt-free dad, and in this video, we're here to talk about finances, but more importantly, we're here to talk scamming and my attorney reaction to this. And this one kind of hit. Normally, I don't really like to talk about PPP fraud because once you heard one PP fraud case, PPP, once you heard one triple P fraud case, you heard them all. It's always kind of the same thing. Somebody doing something really stupid, trying to finesse the system, lying about this to get that. But this one struck home a little bit because it's an attorney. This is going to be the second video that I'm doing on this channel. I'll probably link the first one below, but this is the second video I'm doing on an attorney who committed a scam, committed some fraud, and it was PPP fraud wrapped up in it. The first attorney I talked about, I'm going to link that video below. That was somebody who I knew personally who, hey, they were a high-speed attorney. From all of my interactions, I was actually impressed by their legal acumen. But, hey, everybody, sometimes, if you're a hero long enough, you'll turn into a villain. Ain't that's what they say? But this video is interesting because, as you can see from the thumbnail, it's a former police officer turned attorney who ran for judge who finessed $7 million out of the PPP program. So we definitely going to dive into it. We're going to look at an article, and I'm going to talk a little bit and read a little bit of the DOJ press release. Before we get started, hey, if you aren't, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button and notification. Hopefully you get some value out of this content, a laugh, or you may think it sucks and you just want to talk ish. Either way, hey, it is what it is. Disclaimer, I am a licensed attorney, but not your personal counsel. So this isn't legal or financial advice that I'm ever giving on this channel. I'm just giving my opinion and takes. Occasionally I dive in, let y'all know what we got going on with our finances over here because we try and do some things. You never want to be the brokest ass lawyer in the room. So we try and do some things on the finance side of the game. Now, let's go ahead and dive into this article. First, we're going to look at the article. Then I'm going to pivot over to the DOJ press release. And occasionally I may stop just so we can talk about it and chop it up. All right, Atlanta attorney. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Let's run that back.
They felt uneasy knowing a dangerous.
Okay, all right, that's something else. I hate when they got these articles that show videos for something else. All right, Atlanta attorney found guilty in $7 million COVID relief fraud case. Now, the reason I put that Rolls Royce and that Ninja H2 on the thumbnail is because that's the shit she was buying. I don't know if she bought a Ninja H2. It just said motorcycle, but I thought, like, hey, if I had an extra couple thousand to blow, I would want an H2. It's like number 3 on the fastest sports bike list. So, I just put my personal choice for a motorcycle up there. But the Rolls Royce is not capped. All right, an Atlanta lawyer and business owner previously employed by the city as a police officer and attorney was found guilty Tuesday of defrauding the federal government out of more than $7 million in Paycheck Protection Program funds. Prosecutors allege Shelitha Robertson used the funds her business received to buy a Rolls Royce car, a motorcycle, and a 10-carat diamond ring for $184,000. That's an expensive ass ring. That's crazy. Robinson had denied grossly exaggerating the number of employees by 4 of her companies in order to obtain millions of dollars in federal aid designated to help small businesses afloat during the coronavirus pandemic. All right, before I read any further, let's just kind of talk about this briefly. Now, yeah, typically I always say if you're gonna do something into you want to maybe make an investment, it sounded kind of sketch. You want to check the legitimacy of it. I always advise people seek like a CPA or an accountant or a tax professional or an attorney to kind of look into it. That being said, hey, attorneys are people too, and they will game your ass. Okay. Now, I don't think it happens often, but it happens often enough. Now, why do you see attorneys committing fraud? Just think about it. Because they have access. One, they know the law. Two, they think they smarter than everybody. Even me, I'm a little guilty of that at times, depending on the situation. So they think they're smarter than everybody. They think they may know a loophole to finesse the system. They've worked with criminals all the time, so they think they know exactly what not to do. I actually knew a guy who was an attorney a few years older than me, been in the game a few years longer than me, who is sitting in federal prison because he was the plug. He knew the drug dealers, the drug sellers, so he thought it was a bright idea to just put those connections together for a small fee, and he ended his ass up in federal prison, probably which is where he need to be for doing something like that. But attorneys have access; they're holding a lot of client funds. People actually trust them, and that's one of the key things that's important in being able to commit a scam. People have to have some type of trust or faith. I said it with a list. What the hell? People have to have some type of trust or faith in her. Oh man, that's terrible. It's sad because you know her. I was just looking at these comments right here. Yeah, hey, the first video I did on an attorney who committed fraud was somebody who went to my alma mater, who I knew personally, who, as a young attorney, I pulled to the side to ask for some advice on how I should handle something. So, it's a cold game. And attorneys are people too. They try to finesse your ass and scam your ass just as well. Sometimes we have to have a come to God moment. Yeah, that's true. And sometimes that come to God moment comes when you're sitting in the bunk of your cell enjoying your top ramen or whatever it is that you probably got from the commissary. But yeah, we all have to have that moment. But let's turn back to the article. I'm gonna make it bigger so we can see it. Okay. Nope, not that one. Okay, here you go. All right, so she finessed it. She had millions of dollars in aid designated to keep small businesses afloat during the coronavirus pandemic. She blamed her company's fraudulent 2020 PPP loan applications on her then friend and personal attorney, Chandra Norton, who pleaded guilty in separate prosecution. So immediately I was like, wait a second, there's a hyperlink on Sandra Norton. Her name blew. I need to click on that to see what's going on because there's a lot of attorneys going on here. There's a lot of prosecutions going on here. So I was like, well, let me click on Sandra Norton, the person who she tried to blame for her company submitting these bogus ass amount of employees to get all of these funds. So let's click on Sandra Norton here. DCAB still contracting with company founded by woman guilty of PPP fraud. Now, let's focus on the PPP fraud part. I don't even want to touch the fact that the county is still doing business with a company ran by somebody who was convicted of fraud. Like, just from an optic standpoint, that doesn't pass the sniff test. They, I don't know, like, I, I would probably advise someone to pivot from that company and find another company, even if you have to pay a little bit more, because it just looks bad. If the optics is bad, sometimes optics something may not be wrong, but if it has a, a smell of looking bad, it's probably going to appear bad to the public, the constituents, or whoever. But I wanted to hyperlink on this, and so I clicked on Sandra. Let me pull up her article real quick so y'all can see that. I want y'all to see that. Now I gotta remove that. You should be able to add multiple screens on this thing. Let's see. DOJ, DeKalb County. All right, here you go. So let's see what happened when we clicked on the friend who was her personal attorney who she tried to blame it on. DCAP still contracting with company founded by woman guilty of PPP fraud. That's stupid as hell for the county to do, but hey, it is what it is. All right. The founder of the company responsible for millions of dollars in important DeKalb County water and sewer work was indicted in 2020, accused of conspiring to defraud the federal government out of nearly $8 million in relief funds meant to help prop up small businesses during the pandemic. So not only was the former police officer turned attorney who wanted to run for judge uh, charged and found guilty by a jury of finessing the PPP system, her personal attorney, who she had looking out for her legal interests, was previously found guilty of PPP fraud for $8 million. She upped her, one upped her about $1 million. Federal prosecutors say Sandra Norton and an unnamed second party. You wonder who the unnamed second party can be. Probably the lady on my thumbnail. And an unnamed second party applied for the money through the federal Paycheck Protection Program and then used it for personal purchases. And let's see what she purchased. A Range Rover. She had pled guilty and is a cooperating witness for the federal government. So, hey, I see what's going on here. Once I clicked on the hyperlink, let's go ahead and close this out and get back to the main article. So, so essentially, hey, the attorney who got popped first was like, I'm going to take a plea, and pursuant to this plea agreement, I'm going to cooperate with the federal government. That cooperation went to go against our current subject, Miss Robertson, who was a former police officer, attorney, and judicial candidate in Atlanta, Georgia. So let's go ahead and pull that article back up so we can get through it. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and pivot. Let's just go to the source. Let's go to the DOJ press release. I like these press releases because especially when it's your case. It's your case. It'll have your name up there, so when people search you, they be like, "Yeah, this dude be putting people away." All right, woman convicted of $7 million COVID-19 relief fraud. A federal jury in the Northern District of Georgia convicted a Georgia attorney and former City of Atlanta police officer yesterday of fraudulently obtaining $7 million in loans under the Paycheck Protection Program. According to court documents and evidence presented at trial, Shelitha Robertson, 62 of Atlanta, God damn, she's 62. She's probably gonna spend the rest of her life in prison. That's a damn shame. Conspired to submit PPP loan applications on behalf of 4 businesses she owned. The loan applications falsely inflated the number of employees and average monthly payroll. This is sad. She's 62. She probably gonna die in prison. Hey, it is what it is for each of her 4 businesses, including large PPP loans that Robertson could legitimately obtain. Robertson and a co-conspirator also caused, who's the co-conspirator? Her personal attorney, who she tried to blame all of this issue on. Robertson, a co-conspirator, also caused the submission of false tax documents to support the false statements in each loan application. Robertson used the loan proceeds to purchase luxury items, including the 10-carat ring, and to transfer funds to family members and her co-conspirator. Jury convicted Robertson of 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud, 3 counts of wire fraud. Wire fraud, you're looking at 20 years for each one. Woo, each count. Ugh. 1 count of money laundering. She is scheduled to be sentenced on April 11th of 2024 and faces a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison for each count of conspiracy, what I just said here, to commit wire fraud, and a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison for money laundering. A federal district court judge will determine any sentence after considering the U.S. sentencing guidelines and other statutory factors. In short, what are the sentencing guidelines? It's essentially a chart, right? So let's say you committed fraud, and hey, your boy DFD got tired of living, being a 9-to-5 guy, and I committed fraud. If we both committed the same exact fraud, the sentencing guidelines are determined based on your prior interaction with the court system. So if you had no prior interaction with the court justice system, no prior convictions, but I had 1 high-level felony, I can have a high-level felony, 1 low-level felony, we committed the exact same crime, but because of my prior conduct with the court, my prior conviction, I'm going to be looking at a higher sentence on the sentencing scale than you would, even though we did the exact same thing. That's a short kind of breakdown of what that means. Robertson is the second defendant to be convicted as a part of the Justice Department's prosecution of approximately 15 million in PPP fraud conspiracy. Robertson, co-conspirator, pled guilty prior to trial. I said it once and I said it 1,000 times. I've handled thousands of cases as a defense attorney, as a prosecutor, as an investigations attorney. I can't even imagine the number. Let's just guess. I'm gonna say well over 3,000 cases. I handle well over 3,000 cases, probably as just a defense attorney alone. But let's just say well over 10,000 cases because I felt like I had a year. The shit was crazy. But of all the cases that have came across my desk, I only know like two who were like, I'm not taking a plea, I'm not telling. The the minute you have co-conspirators, somebody's gonna tell. It's inevitable. The question is who's going to tell first? Who's going to get the sweetheart deal first? That's kind of how it goes. Excuse me. The second defendant was pled guilty prior to trial. Acting Assistant Attorney General, I'm not going to butcher your name, Nicole, of the Justice Department Criminal Division, and U.S. Attorney Ryan Buchanan, blah, blah, blah. These are all the people who investigated it. Take the, okay. A former agent of mine went. But you see, these are all the alphabet agencies, the type of work that your boy DFD did. You got the SBA OIG, the Small Business Administration Office of Inspector General, because the SBA is in charge of the PPP program. You got the FDIC OIG because the funds are dispersed from a financial institution. Then you got TIGTA. TIGTA is essentially a tax office of Inspector General. Let me see. The fraud section leads criminal to prosecutions, blah, blah, blah. Since the inception of the CARES Act, the fraud section has prosecuted over 200 defendants in more than 130 criminal cases and has seized over 78 million in cash proceeds derived from fraudulently obtained PPP funds, as well as numerous real estate properties and luxury items purchased with the funds. That's interesting. I was just looking at these task force that they got. Okay, so that's kind of where this played out. Let me go ahead and pivot over here to to the comments. Completely unrelated. How easy is it to buy off opposing counsel? Um, I will say I don't think it's easy, but I think that most attorneys, I would say 7 to 6 out of 10 attorneys, just like 7 to 6 or 7 out of 10%. It always fluctuates between 60 and 70% of people live paycheck to paycheck. So if we know the average is 70% of people living paycheck to paycheck, they probably got credit card debt and all sorts of other bullshit going on. If that's on average, that means 70% of attorneys are living paycheck to paycheck. 70% of doctors are living. 70% of the people in the NBA are living paycheck to paycheck. That number normally is consistent across the board. So there is a big opportunity and some vulnerabilities there for people to be susceptible to getting bought off and paid off. That's why most times when you apply to jobs where they like, yo, you gotta get a top secret security clearance. Like if your credit jacked up, they not gonna hire you. Well, just because my credit jacked up, DFD don't mean I can't do the job. I know. Back when my credit was jacked up, I had an opportunity to slip right through my fingers because my credit was jacked up. But the reason they aren't gonna hire you is because you have a pressure point. What's your pressure point? Think about it. Like, why would I hire somebody to work for the DEA, the CIA, who's going to be in Medellin, Colombia, trying to infiltrate the cartel when this fool can't even pay his bills? Man, this dude gonna be taking so many bribes to look the other way. It's only gonna be a matter of time. Y'all want to see something interesting? Actually, do a Google search for law enforcement authorities, law enforcement who have been convicted of working with the cartels. The number is so damn high. You see it all the time because it's a point of vulnerability. So it is relatively, I'm not going to say it's easy, but people have vulnerabilities and are susceptible to getting bribed by money because their money game ain't right, really. I think it was a lover's beef. Hey, I, that's actually that's actually a fair point. I have seen that happen. I've actually had cases across my desk that weren't even on our radar. No one had no reason to believe or wasn't even looking in direction of a fraud being committed. And you know who was the whistleblower who contacted us? The girlfriend, the ex-girlfriend, the ex-wife. The minute shit goes sour, all your secrets coming out. That's just so it's not uncommon. I see ex-wives, ex-girlfriends, they call and be like, yeah, he broke up with me, and we just let him talk. I sometimes I hear the voice, the message they leave, and it's wild, but that is common that a lover's quarrel can lead to people becoming government witnesses all the damn time. See, that's funny. That actually makes sense. She's not running the company. It and that is the bottom line. Greed is the people who get caught up in this stuff always want something for nothing. I actually had a on my feed on the social media, I saw a post where somebody was like, yo, this cash app finesse glitch, see what it's about. And they had like $9,000 on their cash app. And that actually caused me to look into it. I'm gonna do a video probably on that on tomorrow or maybe Saturday. Because I think I want to do the government finessing people at the airport out of their cash. But it caused me to look it up. And I came to the conclusion that not I ain't gonna say 100%, but 95% of people who fall for scams are greedy. You have that small percentage, like in the video I did yesterday, where you don't even know that you're getting finessed. Those are kind of the people who I really feel sorry for because they don't have any personal accountability. They just got. But most people are greedy as hell, and it leads to them getting kicked directly in the nuts eventually, sooner or later. She did that the less of time. Notice it was a year and a half. It was a setup by her girlfriend, the attorney. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. That's I didn't even think of some type of relationship like that, but that's normally how it goes. And that trip, that's not the. I'll give y'all how attorneys normally do things, right? But people, it doesn't work in every case. It only is successful in let's say the case of a DV domestic thing, some Jonathan Majors type stuff, right? Normally, if you have defendant A and defendant B, and this is the only scenario when it works. So if you scamming and I'm scamming money, this scenario will not work. And sometimes it may not work in this case. It just kind of depends. But one thing you'll see that defense attorneys would do is if you had a domestic situation and person A was punching person B and person B was punching person A, the cops came, everybody got charged. We charging all y'all asses with assault. We don't know what's what. And then you got two people in court, same day, same officer present, charging these cases. A lot of times those cases go away because what you'll have is, hey, attorneys talk, we powwow in the back, and they'll say, hey, if your client pleads the fifth, my client will plead the fifth. And if both of our clients go up there and plead the Fifth Amendment, they can't get any evidence to move forward. That only works. I've only seen that work in my personal experience for domestic violence stuff. For something like this, that scheme ain't gonna work because they'll bifurcate the trials, try you separately. Especially in this case, it looked like they can attribute a certain amount of cash to person A and a certain amount of cash to person B. So I definitely agree with that. That yeah, hey, y'all shining some light on this because it's definitely looking like a lover's quarrel going bad. Yeah, her wife is the owner of the Blue Flame. Ah, see, hey man, these stories get out. People be knowing people who know some people. Nice. Now I gotta look that up. Now I gotta look that up. She had paper already. Hey, those are the people who already. But even if I mean, like, it depends how you define it, though, right? Because I know a lot of people who got paper, but I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people who got paper, but some of those same people they got paper, but they ain't got wealth. Those are two different things. Two different things. So you could own a club and have all the fucking businesses you want, but if you make a million and you spend 1.5, you just as broke as somebody who make $40,000 and they spend, they spend $65,000. Same difference. Only you got bigger shit to floss in, or, or more stuff to worry about when the bill collectors come due. Mutual combat, right. Some places have mutual combat and they'll let it go. It normally don't work in like DV cases though. I've never seen it in a DV case where like I normally see that mutual combat apply if it's like two dudes fighting in the mall or two girls fighting over something. Anytime it's guy girl, and they normally, well, in places I practice, they define DV as either you live together, so it could be two roommates, and that would be in DV court. Either you live together or you have some type of familial relationship. That's normally how they define it. But yo, it's some it's terrible. But yo, a lot of times it's not uncommon for professionals to try to game people, to try to finesse the system because they think they smarter than everybody. Like you said, they had paper, but hey, somebody who got paper, especially if they not handling their business right, they want more. Most people want more paper anyway. Like I already know that's like I'm like that person. I put a poll question up and I was like, yo, for an extra 12 to 15 hours out of your week, would you work those hours to make an extra $1,000 a month? It boiled down to $20 an hour. And most people said yeah. I think 70 something percent of people said yeah, but a lot of people left comments was like, nah, it's not worth it. It's not worth my time. It's not worth my time. I was like, man, people, maybe I think differently. I look at it as like, man, it's play money that I could spend that I don't really have to spend my money that I'm using for other stuff. You know what I mean? I generally try to use my paycheck to, hey, take care of my essential bills, my mortgage, or family stuff, save and invest. Generally, if I want a toy, the general rule I follow is if I want a toy, I got to figure out how to get an asset that can give me money so I can get that toy. So if I wanted something like a boat, I would never want a boat. But if I wanted something like a boat and it would cost me $20,000, I'm not saving up $20,000 so oh man, let me save up $20,000 so I can just buy this boat. I probably wouldn't do that. If I would probably save up $20,000 to buy a cheap ass condo unit out in the county somewhere for $150,000. And then once that money come in, I would allocate a small portion of whatever I have after I pay the mortgage on that to being able to get that boat. That's normally how I look at it when I'm dealing with toys. But people who got money, they once you got money, you just want more. I don't know what it is. Y'all right now could say in your mind, man, I'm working hard. And by the time I retire when I'm 65, all I need is $1.5 million. And you'll be working hard. And in 5 years, you can be like, you know what? I need two. I need an even $2 million. You're just gonna keep pushing the goalpost, and that's how people who got money are. They just keep pushing the goalpost. Whatever they got, they want more. If they got the new Tesla Model X, you know what they want? They want the Cybertruck. They want that sharp ass corner vehicle. So that's just kind of how it is. So that's why you see a lot of professionals committing fraud, especially with attorneys. I tell people all the time, being an attorney is like being a rapper. Like you don't give a damn about what your doctor drive, long as he nice. Like, oh man, my dentist nice. He got the new Bentley. Like, you don't give a damn what your dentist or your doctor drive. But generally, if you went to your attorney's office and there was a ragtag office and he had a car outside that was ashy as hell, and you saw him getting in the car and he had to get in from the passenger door and slide across the seat. I use that example because that's how my car used to look. Back when I was a young attorney, you ain't gonna want to hire no dude like that. You're gonna be like, man, that dude's a loser. He gonna lose this case, and I don't want this loser and his loser mobile coming to court. So being an attorney is like kind of how rappers are generally. Like, yeah, you gotta have a little bit of floss with you so people can buy into the perception because they associate you looking nice and having nice shit with actually being successful, even though that doesn't mean anything. The video that I did with the attorney I know, it was the exact same way. I think she was part owner of a club, actually. But I think she was part owner of a club, and she had a lot of business ventures popping. But hey, they wanted more. They wanted to live a lifestyle that they probably could. They probably got caught up in some, yo, these people on social media balling like shit. So let me try to ball. Bottom line, at the end of the day, it's completely not worth it. So, hey, I always tell people, you know what I mean? I'm content with getting where I want to go, on the slow, steady route. Because that's why I could never be like being like somebody like a drug dealer is a hard ass job, right? Same principles, like yo, you got to be able to handle business. You got to be a little ruthless. You got to be a little cutthroat. Same normal stuff that any CEO would need to be successful. You probably got to have to be successful in the drug game. But the biggest thing for me is, man, you do all that work and you got to worry about everybody taking your shit. That's why it's not worth it. That's the biggest reason why it's not worth it. You got to worry about the stick up boys taking it. You got to worry about the feds coming to take it. You got to worry about rivals coming to take it. It's just you can't ever rest because everything that you work hard for can be gone in a moment, just like that. It's a Netflix documentary I was watching. I'm real big on like mob culture, right? Mob culture and stuff like that. Let me check this car. We didn't even get a raise when she got that loan. Also, we were essential workers during that time, and we was working and making good money. Yeah, they ain't gonna give you like if somebody is lying on a PPP loan application to get the money that should go to the workers. It ain't nowhere in hell they're gonna give that money to the workers. That's I've I've never in my life I've seen a lot of CEOs of some of the biggest banks that y'all probably bank with that are probably terrible banks. But I've seen a pharmaceutical company CEOs. I mean, you name it, and I've thrown them in prison. But I've never seen anyone at that level commit fraud to actually share it with nobody with anybody who's not involved in the fraud. The only way an employee, the only way an employee would have probably got some of these proceeds is if the employee was like, "Hey, I know what you're doing, so you better break me off while I'm snitching." Normally, when people steal, they're not stealing extra. They not no fucking what do you call them? Like they not like Peter Pan, robbing from the rich to steal from the poor. They robbing from the rich to give to themselves, who probably already rich, or they look at themselves as poor, one or the other. But not never. I've never seen somebody commit a scam to get money to give it to people who actually deserved it because they were doing the right thing. Like if they were, like I'm gonna be honest, like even though that still make it illegal as hell, as a juror, I would actually look at that a little bit different. Be like, damn, she finessed 7 million out of the PPP loan program, but she took care of all her essential employees. Like you still going to jail, but I'm gonna be like, hey, she 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 has some bit of a moral compass, but still store her ass in jail. But I've never seen that done, so I don't think that that's something that's your raise went towards her daughter's movie, Steve Queens. That's where it went, man. People use those things to buy bigger boats, to buy more assets. They not buying a boat. Oh man, I use that scam money to buy a yacht so I can have all my employees come and we can have a cool ass office party. Hell no. Nah. They want to hang out and be celebrities. Excuse me, she's wealthy. Before this, she's building a house on Lake Spivey. We had a $99 million contract for Decatur, Georgia. I I would need a breakdown to determine if she's wealthy. And I just say that because I just say that because I'm an attorney. I've been doing this for well over a decade now. I've seen attorneys who had the flyest shit, the best cars, who take their entire staff on vacations to Grand Turks, Turks and Caicos, to Cayman Islands on their dime. I've seen people who are professionals have everything you need to put yourself in a position to have wealth. and they don't have wealth because that shit is like sand. They got a whole bunch of money and they squeeze it, and that the more you squeeze, the more that shit slip through. So, hey, if you got a $99 million contract, I'm assuming you probably pulling off 35, maybe 40% of that to bust down in profits to pay staff, equipment, and yourself. So she probably was wealthy, but I actually got to see the tangible things to determine wealth because I've just seen so many professionals. I've known doctors. I've seen pharmaceutical CEOs. I've had cases with pharmaceutical CEOs. You know the bonuses that pharmaceutical CEOs get, bro? Like $99 million is nothing and compared to what pharmaceutical CEOs get and stock options every year as a signing bonus. I mean, the numbers get crazy. I've seen people who should be wealthy as fuck, but when they're like, "Oh, we can't pay back because we don't got no money." Okay, well, we're gonna do an audit of your finances, and you look at their bank account and be like, "Damn, they broke as fuck." You see it soon as it come in, it go out. Soon as it come in and go out. So we gotta kind of take a look at that for me to independently say that she was wealthy. She got all the fundamentals and processes to be wealthy, but hey, like I said, if you got 100 million and you spend 105 million, you're not wealthy. You just got a lot of shit. What's good, bro? What's good, man? I saw you was on the live, man. See, I be doing lives the same time everybody else be doing lives, so I can't even check everybody out because I just sometimes I don't even want to drop something. Like I I saw the Cash App thing today because somebody put it on my timeline, and I was like, wait, how is these dudes getting all this money through Cash App? So I dove down a rabbit hole, and I was like, yeah, I knew it was a finesse. Well, damn, bro, didn't know about that movie. Did it come out yet? It's on YouTube. It's a YouTube movie. What is it called? Scheme Queens? Is it a movie or it's a movie? It's not based on no real life shit though. Now I gotta look it up. now I gotta look it up because I'm like, what is this? It has an interesting title, something that sounds interesting to me. As somebody who I don't know, I like criminal shit, just not I don't do it. I'm looking at the trailer now. Scheme Queens official trailer. Oh yeah, this look like. See if I wonder if I can play this trailer. I want to say, you play the trailer sometimes, and YouTube will be like, "Oh man, you can't play the trailer." But hey, hey, I'm gonna pull the image up so y'all can see the thumbnail. I actually might now I might check it out. It looked like something that's on Crackle or Tubi, but yeah, I might have to check it out. Man, it's probably interesting. I found the what was the name of that damn show? It wasn't Money and Violence. Yeah, I've heard of Money and Violence. It was but this YouTube, hey, some people be putting dope content out. It was a show I used to watch on YouTube called Money and Violence, and it was dope. It was some guys out of New York who filmed this show called Money and Violence on YouTube, and they just did it with one camera. It was amazing. It was like The Wire, kind of, right? And it got so big, I think HBO purchased it from them, and they were actually supposed to like do an HBO spinoff for that YouTube. It was like maybe 7 to 8 seasons of Money and Violence, but people started beefing, people got greedy, and that shit just kind of fell by the wayside. B Simone, Jackie O, and her daughter. I'm like, I'm gonna have to check it out, Jason. I'm gonna have to check it out right before the holidays. Man, it's just man, I don't know, man. Because some people they do that like 31 days of vlogging with like every day they doing the video and like I don't know how people could do that shit. But I can do a video every day as long as I got a topic to talk about every day. Like, but it got to be around some news story. Like, I don't know. I just feel like very rarely do people want to hear me just sit up here telling a story about some shit. Unless like if I do a video, like I'm gonna do a video, my last video in my laid off lawyer. It probably gonna be my last. I might do 2 more because I might do another one on how I was able to get by on 60% of what I was making. So I might do another video, but very rarely people don't be wanting to hear about it unless you got an intriguing story. Well, I know my audience for the most part. The daughter did a video speaking about how her mom was helping pay for the movie. And there you have it. The funds went to produce the Tubi film. It's on YouTube. She gave the money back with interest. Interesting. See? Interesting. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Cause it got a trailer. Let me see if I could pull this damn thing up so we could take a look at what y'all talking about. Mm-mm. Damn, an hour 34 minutes. No, we ain't gonna buy it, but let's see. 4 down on their luck girlfriends decide to rob a Rastafarian jewel thief in this thrilling crime drama. Oh, okay, okay. It's like all female versions of Set It Off Meet Dead Presidents or something like that. I don't know if you want to rob the rosters though, but yeah, hey, I'm trying to see if it got. Oh, they got the full movie right here. Full movie right here. That bitch got 320,000 views. But yeah, they got the full movie on YouTube, so I might have to check that out when I got an hour and a half to kill. I may have to check that out. But yo, the game is meant to be sold, not to be told. So people always gonna try to finesse. So I'm gonna put a poll up. Y'all let me know what the next video is. I got 2 options. Okay, now I gotta see. Check this out. Her and her daughter have a podcast on YouTube called Mommy and Me. They had the nerve to do a show. Oh man, I think that's a dope idea. I actually wanted to get my son to do a podcast, and it was just gonna be called Father Knows Best Podcast. And I was gonna have my son on there. We just was gonna talk about life shit. He about to go to college. We just gonna talk about crazy ass topics. Then I was like, oh, that'd be dope because the minute he gone, I could bring my daughter on and we could chop it up about topics. But the conversation is gonna be a little bit different with my daughter. Me and my son, we could talk about some other stuff. Me and my daughter, nah, I'll be like, what? It might be a problem. That comment is hilarious, though, man. That might be the comment of that comment right there, yo. Shout out to you, Jason Williams. Her and her daughter have a podcast on YouTube called Mommy and Me. They had the nerve to do a show of financial freedom, but now you in the feds scamming. Hey, that's crazy, man. It's crazy, man. But everybody giving like I know cats I grew up with who doing like credit repair now, and I'm like, oh man. I'm like, hey, I don't know. Oh, okay. The daughter's dating Carlos Miller from 85 South Show. Okay, so she probably know my homegirl. Because my homegirl I went to law school with is the attorney for the 85 South Show guys. She actually spoke at InvestFest. She the only person who spoke at InvestFest that I knew they knew what the hell they was talking about. Because she was talking about like protecting your brand through trademark and copyright protection and all of that stuff. Robbing the roster. That don't sound like shooters. Shooters. What is it called? Shooters, shooters. I never even watched that shit. I saw that thumbnail and I was like, nah, I'm good. Robin rosters. Nah, I might watch it for like 5 minutes because I gotta watch it for like 5 minutes. But I typically don't like watching like bad Tubi type movies, man. I just can't, man. A movie got to be really good. It was Money and Violence was one on YouTube that was good, and the other one was called. It was another one that was actually better than Money and Violence, and both of them got signed to like HBO Showtime. But yo, folks, you know how it is when when people are collective and the money start coming in, everybody start beefing, and that shit just fell apart. Man, you got more tea than me, and I worked there for 5 years. That's crazy. Overall, though, was it a good place to work? Like outside of the scam, take the scam out of pocket. But for that 5 year period, did you feel like okay, as far as a place to work, the actual work environment, was it a good place to work? Because that would actually be interesting. Like, damn, you scamming, but you actually got a let me see. She got that bread. I mean, that'd be interesting if she actually had a good place. I assume that if you're a scammer, you probably have a bad culture in your work environment. That's just like I don't think that I think if you show traits of a bad person, you probably got a bad like. Do you think Bad Boy Entertainment is like one of the top 5 best places to work in America? Fuck no. Like no way. Nobody want to work there because they got a CEO who acts a certain type of way, and that shit just filters through the company. Crime lord. See, I like all of that stuff. I like all the DEA, mob stuff, cartel stuff, even if it's in Espanol. I watch it, I read it. I'm trying to get my Spanish, my habla Espanol game up. I like all that. But they got a dope documentary. They actually got 2 dope documentaries. If you like this, like people who finesse in the game and the underworld is on Netflix. It's called the first one is called How to Be a Dictator. And they give you a playbook. This is the guideline for how people successfully become dictators. Then the one they just came out with maybe 2 weeks ago is called How to Be a Mob Boss. Yo, that joint dope. It got John Gotti, Whitey Bulger. What's the dude that Denzel played? Nicky Barnes. There's a few other cats in there who they talk about, but they generally give a playbook of not El Chapo. Why can't I think of his name? Pablo Escobar was another one. I can't think of who the last one was, but it's called How to Be a Mob Boss on Netflix. That's a real dope documentary. They give out the playbook. This is how these dudes get in power. This is how they stay in power. I like all that stuff, but yo, I just watch that shit on TV. I ain't about that life. I ain't about that life. But yo, that's it. We're gonna close this one out. Hey, attorneys finesse people just like regular everyday citizens when they greedy and they want more. Hey, y'all said it. Y'all said that this lady had a bag and that she was wealthy, but she wasn't wealthy enough because she wanted to steal $7 million of taxpayer money. That's pretty much money from you and me and shit. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I look at it. Tomorrow I may do, I don't know. I'm trying to do if I'm gonna do the Cash App scam exposed, or the other one is a story about the feds taking people cash as they traveling in the airport in the United States. And that's crazy because you could carry $100,000 in the airport in the United States as long as you're in the States and there's no issue. But hey, it's some feds out there, some law enforcement agencies out there who taking people money, no charges coming up, and it's looking real shady. And so it's gonna be either one of those 2 videos because both of those topics are interesting. I'll probably put a poll out. But yo, I appreciate everybody who tuned in, everybody who commented, everybody who provided some granularity. Because yo, there's some greedy ass people out there. Attorneys, doctors, bank guys, regular broke ass people with no jobs. Everybody is susceptible to falling for these things. So I put it out, not to give a blueprint on how to do it, but so you can keep your eyes open and know what you should avoid. All right, I'm gonna do that one. Since you said it, I'm gonna do it. Since you said it, that's the one I'm gonna do tomorrow. We're gonna talk about the. I wouldn't call it a criminal forfeiture because it ain't no crime. Nobody getting charged on that. But we're gonna talk about it. That story is interesting. We're gonna talk about it, and I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of gamesmanship on how I would approach it. Remember, I'm gonna give y'all the caveat though. Okay, how I interact with law enforcement is different than how I would advise other people to interact with law enforcement. So I tell my son all the time, because my son be like, "Yo, what time is my curfew?" And I be like, just know if something happened, you fit the description. But I've been in the car with my son, and the cops will come up and get pulled us over for some dumbass reason. Like, I know one time we got pulled. They were like, "Oh, you didn't have your blinker on before making that left turn." And I know the damn law. If I'm in a left turn only lane, I don't have to turn my blinker on. There's a Supreme Court case out there in the state that I was in that says, hey, you only have to turn on your blinker when you have a decision to be made. If you can go straight and turn left, you need your blinker on. If it's a left turn only lane, not turning on your blinker isn't sufficient for law enforcement to stop you. So I'm kind of an asshole. If you stop me and waste my time, I'm gonna have a little fun and entertainment out of it. But I told my son, if you stop without me, hey, this is what they can and can't do. But sometimes it may not behoove you to play that game. Your job is to just do what you got to do to get home and let me fight the battles if they fucking do something wrong. But I'm gonna give y'all what legally can be done, can't be done with these bogus forfeitures that are appearing at the airport. And I'll let y'all know how I'm handling it. Let me see. All I can say is she treated us like kings, and we got big bonuses on top notch equipment. Hate this happened. Her daughter is the CFO of the company now, but things got slapped and we lost our jobs. Yeah, yeah. That's the old. You always want to pass shit to your kids, but sometimes your kids just ain't built to do it. Just just Google the story of the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, who passed the empire to his son Commodus. Commodus was the first Roman emperors normally get adopted. Like, they don't have sons, they have daughters. Commodus was the first Marcus Aurelius was the first Roman emperor to have a son. So of course he wanted to leave it to his son, and his son did exactly what you supposed to do. Fuck it up. Nah, there's no worries. No worries. Hey, it should be a criminal forfeiture, but they doing some shady stuff. And I thought I would retire from there. Damn, that's fucked up. Damn, that's fucked up when you got a job that's like, it's great. There's some crazy stuff happening there. Because that's all you could, like, very few people wake up and, like, maybe this is just me, but luckily I'm blessed that I enjoy what I do, no matter where I was at. I think I just like the practice of law because there's always something different. I could do asset forfeiture. I could do defense. I could do criminal. I could do civil. If I wanted to pivot, I could do family law, but I'd rather deal with criminals than crazy ass family law matters. But it just allows so much flexibility. So I really enjoy it. And bottom line is, I just like helping people, and there's another way to help people. So it's very rare that most people hate their job. Most people you talk to are going to hate their job. I'm talking about 80% of the time they're going to despise it. Like me, maybe 85% of the time my job don't get on my nerves. It may occasionally get on my nerves, but I mean, it's a job. Shit. I'm sure I get on my wife's nerves and she get on my nerves. My son, he really get on my damn nerves. So that's just kind of part of course. But it's dope to have a job where you actually treat it well, and it's fucked up to, when something happened and interrupts that. You know what I mean? But yo, that's it for this video. Y'all have a good one. We're gonna talk about the government asset forfeitures that are occurring at the airport for folks who are traveling with cash, and how you could try to avoid that. Y'all be safe, be blessed. I appreciate all y'all for tuning in. For the folks on the replay, check out whatever's popping on the screen, because it's probably gonna be a video with my face on the thumbnail where we talking finance and attorney reactions. Y'all be blessed.